Hello and welcome. This is Angie with thecountrysheetcottage.net. So today we're going to talk about the basics of using vinyl. So we're using adhesive vinyl today. So there's two different kind of types of vinyl. There is adhesive vinyl and heat transfer vinyl. So adhesive vinyl is vinyl that has a sticky backing and you can stick it to hard surfaces, like we're going to make this mason jar today. But there's also a heat transfer vinyl that is a heat activated adhesive that you would put on a shirt, something like this. So if you want the basics of heat transfer vinyl and looking for that, we have a video for that. You can find that at that link in the description below. But today is all about adhesive vinyl. So adhesive vinyl comes in a ton of different colors, regular plain colors, metallics, glitter, patterned, and even like mosaics and things like that. Tons and tons of different options. These are examples from Cricut, but there are other brands as well. And the first thing you want to look at when picking a vinyl product is it removable or permanent? So there are kind of two different options that you can choose from there. Permanent, removable. Removable is something that you want to remove later. If you want to add vinyl to a wall, for example, for some wall art, removable is going to be the solution. Permanent is more for permanent applications. So I could use permanent for this mason jar if I didn't want it to ever come off. I could use permanent in an outdoor application because it would see a lot of wear and tear, a lot of moisture, a lot of that type of thing. So you would definitely want permanent in that situation. So think about those two options and which one you need for your project before you go shopping for your adhesive vinyl. The other thing you'll need when working with adhesive vinyl is some sort of transfer tape. Now, there are so many on the market and everyone has their favorite. Like, I'm just going to say that right now. But the two options you want to look at, there's a regular grip and a strong grip. Strong grip should always be used anytime you're using glitter vinyl, as it's the only thing that will actually adhere to it. So there's one tip for you. The regular works fine for everything else. I always use the regular transfer paper for the projects that I do. Now, I usually use the Cricut brand. Like I said, there are tons of different brands on the market. There are tons of people that have their favorites. Try a few, pick your favorite and use that. There's nothing wrong with any of the transfer tapes, and there's nothing wrong with you having your own personal favorite and using it for all your projects. Now, the next thing we need to do is design our project in Cricut Design Space to work with vinyl. So let's take a look in Cricut Design Space and see what those options are.
You want to take your design and size it to the appropriate size for your surface. You also want to make sure that everything is attached together. So in this case, this is all one piece. But let's say that I was to add a circle to that or any other shape. You'll want to make sure, first of all, that everything is the same color. And then you would want to pick both shapes and attach them together. This ensures that on the mat that everything stays in place and so that you can transfer it easily to your surface. So then when we go to cut our design, we just click Make It, and you can see that the design is now on our canvas. So we do not mirror when we cut vinyl. So we leave the mirror off and we click Continue. So this screen indicates that the dial on our Explorer Air 2 is set to vinyl, which is fine in this case. But let's say we wanted to use a different type of vinyl. We would need to move the dial to custom to get those options. When we move the dial to custom, then a bunch of options open up and we can actually click Browse More Materials to see even more. If you're using a maker, this is the screen you will see exclusively. You will not see just the vinyl screen. So here we can sort for all the different types of vinyl, and we could pick glitter vinyl in this case, which would be a completely different setting, and cut the vinyl that way. Now all vinyl will use the fine point blade, which comes with all Cricut machines. Now let's get to cutting.
And now we've got our machine up and we're ready to cut. So let's go to the Cricut machine and cut our vinyl. When cutting vinyl, your blue mat is best. And then for regular adhesive vinyl, we put it face up on the mat. Just make sure it's straight. Make sure it's adhered to the mat well. And then we can run this through the Cricut machine. Then you just load the mat with your vinyl into your machine and press the button to make the machine cut your design. Then you just remove it from the machine when you're done, and we'll head up to weed it. And now that it's cut, we need to weed away all the excess. What does that mean? Well, let's take a look. When you're working with vinyl, the next thing you're going to do is want to weed it. So there's several different weeding tools to choose from. Now these are all from Cricut. There are weeding tools as well as tweezers. You can basically pick your preference on which one you like. When dealing with vinyl, some kind of scraper tool is also recommended to press it down. So the first thing I'm going to do to my cut piece is just trim out the area that I actually cut on my machine. The rest of this is uncut and can be used for another project. And then we can start weeding away all the excess. So you want to weed away everything that's around the outside, as well as things like the centers of letters. So what I did is I picked up the corner using the weeding tool, and that's one tip to make things a bit easier, is to pick that corner up with something like a weeding tool. And then just start pulling back all the excess that's around the outside. And then you can also start weeding away things like the centers of letters or the centers of any designs that you don't want transferred to your final project. So next we want to use transfer tape to transfer our design. So the first thing I did was cut the transfer tape to a little larger than the design I'm using. One tip is that transfer tape is reusable at least a few times. So you can save this backing paper and put the transfer tape back on there, especially if you're doing multiples of a project or projects about the same size all in the same day. So I just applied the transfer tape, pressed it down really well across the front, and then I like to flip mine over to the back and peel up the backing paper from the vinyl. And once you have everything peeled back, your design is completely on the transfer tape itself. And then you can add it to whatever surface you want to put it on. And once again, we're going to press it out with the squeegee. You could also use a credit card for this same effect. Like an old credit card will work. I like these tools a little better than that, but you can definitely just try an old credit card. And then we just peel back that transfer tape, making sure the vinyl is stuck down. If it's not stuck down, I would just reapply the transfer tape and burnish more. There you have it, the basics of vinyl and adding it to a mason jar. So now we have a cute mason jar all in a couple of minutes, and you know the basics of using adhesive vinyl for your craft projects. I hope you enjoyed this. If you love this video or learned something new, be sure to give us a thumbs up because we love thumbs up. If you have a question about how to use adhesive vinyl or something we should cover in the future, then ask those in the comment section below. And if you love videos like this and you love learning about your Cricut machine, you might want to head on over to our YouTube channel and subscribe because we have videos like this all the time, and I'm sure you'll love them. So thank you so much for joining me today, and I will see you next week with another great Cricut video. Thanks, y'all. Bye-bye.